day. I am Vernon and welcome to Back the Truth. I am interested in listening to the debates in the Houses of Parliament, but I am unable to do so many times. Many of us do not realize that the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, PBCJ, has a YouTube channel where you can see the recordings of Parliament. Those responsible for information and public relations at Gordon House need to spend more time educating the public about Parliament's operations. I hope the new Parliament will have more seats for visitors so that students from the schools can visit the Parliament more often. Community leaders should go to Parliament to see if they are being properly represented. I got a video of Senator Saphire Longmore's presentation in the Senate, and I decided to review it. Her friends, family, and children were present in the visitors' gallery, and she mentioned them. Senator Longmore.
My family, my little son Neo, that's my last one, he's present. Hi, Neo. All right. Last year, my other son, Axel, was here, and now it's Neo. Diana, my friend, and my stalwart at home, my friend Yacolet, and Christine. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support.
She made a case for medically trained persons to manage medical institutions. I did not agree with her position on this matter. People trained in medicine, for example, are not necessarily the best people to manage a medical institution. I must admit that some training in that area would assist someone who lacks training in the medical field. If I have a choice between a healthcare person and someone who is not, that if both are trained and experienced in management, the healthcare person would have the edge for me. The fact that you are a doctor does not make you a good leader or a good manager.
The Minister of Health is the ultimate decision maker in the Ministry of Health. However, this was changed under the current structure, and the CMO reports to the Chief Operating Officer or Permanent Secretary. Mr. President, he goes on to say that the role of the PS should be to ensure that the technical team's policies are supported administratively, financially, and operationally. The reporting relationship that was once horizontal is now vertical, which now places administrative power over technical power. Is it that non-medical concerns have superseded medical or technical advice? Delivery system of admin-heavy structure, taking decision-making of patient care out of the hands of those actually trained for such. And Mr. President, I say this because what I'm recognizing, having practiced medicine for almost, and I'm going to age myself, but almost 30 years, yes, because you don't do the math. I am recognizing, and this is not just in Jamaica, one of the issues when we seek to know ourselves is that we need to know the population that we serve. And we have a tendency of adapting mechanisms of delivery of service that works in other jurisdictions that have a different population, that have a different structure, that has different resources. And so I remember when healthcare used to be the doctor with them shingle hang up, and you go in and you select your doctor, etc. I'm not saying that is what we must go back to. But Mr. President, I want us to recognize that when it comes on to some of our very technical sectors, healthcare, education, agriculture, finance, the best finance minister that Jamaica has seen is somebody trained in finance. Essentially, the person, the technocrat who knows the business, knows how to manage the business efficiently and effectively. And we have an issue where sometimes when we see a problem out in the community, we have to wait for the technocrats to relate to the administration what the issues are, backed by reports, etc., etc. The technocrats know because we're trained in it. So, Mr. President, I'm here to relate that we need to know our needs and we need to contemplate a paradigm shift with how we relate to the services that we deliver to our people. And one of that consideration, Mr. President, and I know in healthcare, that the best administrator is a person who is trained in healthcare, who is then trained in management and administration.
We should note Senator Saphire Longmore's point about using retired people to do administrative tasks. This is a brilliant idea, and I have been advocating for this for a long time. Are we so rich that we can afford to have talented and experienced Jamaicans go home at the tender age of 65 to just eat and sleep, waiting to die?
And so I am proposing that we consider in the fact that our population is aging. And a lot of persons, when they reach the stipulated retirement years, they are in their prime. They have a wealth of knowledge. And that is when our system seeks to remove them. That is when we need to be relying on them, Mr. President. That is when we need to find roles of guidance and capacity building for persons who are at that age and stage and experience in their field to be made significantly useful in the management of our system. And I see this especially in healthcare delivery. Some of our best doctors who know without any need for reference, because this is what we are trained to do. We don't have to wait on the reports to come. When we see the issue at hand, we know how to dispense the solutions.
Senator Saphire Longmore asks about the death penalty, which is still on the books. The majority of Jamaicans, I believe, would vote in support of the death penalty. I wonder if we still have a democracy.
Position is based on the fact that I want meted out to child murderers the most severe punishment we have on our books. The most severe punishment we have on our books. Me no know what needs to happen, but if somebody murders a child, especially in the premeditated way that was, they should not even be considering that they have the chance of seeing sunlight again. We don't enforce, thank you, my friend Christine. We don't enforce the death penalty, I know. But it is still on our books, so make we use it to get the message across. Leave our children alone. Allow them the chance to become the Jamaican citizen that is capable of changing the world.
Senator Longmore reminded us of the skit that the leader of the opposition took part in on a stage, in which he was seen removing the chains from around the neck of a black man. She alluded to the dual censorship of Mr. Mark Golding. I am not aware of Mr. Mark Golding denouncing his censorship of another country. Mr. Golding, you need to respond to this.
Because we are here contemplating serious things this year. And I want for us to have a look at that image. Now, Mr. President, I am not here to critique, to say, talk about the mockery that was made. I'm not here to say that, look at the fact, this is not a color, skin color thing, no. Out of many, we are one people. But Mr. President, for me, it is the decision-making process of someone who is seeking the leadership of this country. My son is there. And when I was preparing this slide, I did not want him to see this because I introduced it to him. I introduced it to him in the right way because in my mind, the leader of the longest black democracy in Jamaica, in the world, should not have the possibility of that image being found. The possibility, whatever made him make that decision to do that, it causes me to question his capacity to make decisions as a leader. I am not talking about skin color. I'm not talking about the fact that he was playing a skit to remove the shackles of the God. No. This is the image that is embedded, that is there now for the world, for every generation. Can you imagine this now? We are going fully into being a republic. And this would be, or the possibility thereof, and this would be the image that we would have of our Prime Minister? No, no. That is not what I'm arguing, Mr. Senator Brown. My argument is the decision-making capacity of someone who already is established to have possible dual allegiancy, who is not clearly committed to Jamaica. Mr. President, in knowing ourselves, we must know who we have at the helm of leadership. And I want each and every one of you over there to look at that. And without any form of explanation, relate to your children that is your leader? No. What is wrong with it? Well, Floyd, I understand because you can't see it. And so, Mr. President, I have incited a response because I am hitting truth. I am hitting truth. I am not arguing about that. My argument is the decision to have been caught in such a compromising position. That is my argument. It is none of that. It is the fact that a leader, an aspirant to the office of leading this proud country could be caught in this position.
The senator went on to tell the House about some of the great things the government has done.
And what have we seen of our leadership? A widening of the 20% tax give-back program, Mr. President. Reduction in the general consumption tax on GCT. NWC water bill amnesty. Spark and reach for your community road repairs. Heart training free up to level 4. NH3 contribution refunds, social pensions for seniors, increased general pensions for pensioners, more JUTC AC comfort buses, jobs, Mr. President, the lowest unemployment rate in the history of Jamaica, Mr. President, increased minimum wages, permanent employment for government contract workers, like I mentioned, over 8,000 in the Ministry of Education and Youth. Over 8,000, over 900 in health. Employment staff status for security guards, Mr. President. Social security, tourism workers' pension and broader social pension, Mr. President. Paternity leave, as we speak of the need for our fathers in our children's lives. Unemployment insurance. The debt to GDP ratio, which was previously at 150% when we got the baton, is now at 74%, Mr. President. The custom bill review, reduced duties, $50 gone to $100 that you can now purchase on online stuff. Duty-free import if you want to bring in now $1,000 instead of 500. Farmer and fisher industry insurance, Mr. President. Predial larceny under the Anti-Gang Act. Rainwater harvesting facility and irrigation. Fisheries incentive program. Criminal record rehabilitation act, Mr. President. Enhanced child diversion for youth offenders and strengthening of mediation options in the justice system. Homeless shelters being built out. Women refuge centers, Mr. President. Renewable energy. 100 megawatts of renewable energy, aiming to have 50% energy source from renewables, Mr. President. Over 300 JUTC buses added to the fleet, Mr. President, and reductions in the fares on JUTC buses. Student loans, no guarantors necessary again, Mr. President. Minimum wage increase. Land titles being distributed, Mr. President. The fact of the matter is, we created over 150,000 new jobs. Over 150,000 new jobs, Mr. President.
I found this presentation to be very good. What the nation needs now is to hear what are the solutions to those areas which we are not doing well in. For example, crime, which is the #1 challenge. The breakdown in the discipline and the social disorder in the country. Political slangs cannot help us at this stage. It is time for the real Jamaicans to stand up and let their voices be heard. Critique this presentation. Your comments to this blog will be shared with our leaders. Tell our leaders where you want this country to go. Elections are just around the corner, and we can ensure that our political leaders no come with no full argument and to try to scare we. If they do, then we have ourselves to be blamed. Cussing politicians cannot help us. Getting involved in the democratic process can. That does not mean just voting, but also ensuring that your voice is heard. My blog, Bark the Truth, and my Bark the Truth YouTube channel give you a wonderful opportunity to do that. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and read my blogs. We are keeping democracy alive and giving the voiceless a chance to be heard. This has been Bark the Truth. Vernon is saying, I love you all. What good, my friend?